It's time!
What's kicking, everybody? We're back for another episode of Pickin' Fights. I'm Keith, joined as always by my friend Tom. Tom, how you doing? How you doing today?
Almost got through it. Almost got through it with no hiccups. You normally are so good, but no, doing good. It's a really good card. I feel like it's been like a little bit of like a UFC drought where I've just not been super tuned in, haven't seen much marketing, haven't seen much advertisements, no hype around any of the UFC stuff. I have no idea if that has anything to do with Saudi investment, trying to get out of ESPN, staying with ESPN, the price at $90 per pay-per-view, making it kind of like, exclusionary unless you know the streams, which, certainly nobody's out there illegally streaming the UFC pay-per-views that are not that great for $90 per buy. Nobody is going to, be incentivized at all to go and watch that illegally. But anyway, I got off on a tangent. How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing well, but I do agree with you. The hype has died out. We haven't been here for 2 weeks, and we're just coming in on a Friday. I mean, that has to do with scheduling conflicts, but it was also a scenario when, we realized that there was a card this week, and it's good, right? But this is not the high. Maybe they'll prove us wrong. We've had cards in the past where we've looked at them on paper and said, this really isn't great. I'm not looking forward to this. And you sit down, you watch it, and all of a sudden it's one of the best cards you've ever seen. Right, we have names like Vicente Luque and Kevin Holland opening up the main card. Kayla Harrison's back, fighting for the belt. Patchy Mix is on the main card, making his debut after a long tenured time as the champ in Bellator. So, and then obviously, main event, Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. And it is odd that there's no hype around this fight, right? Like Merab, after that performance against Umar, how incredible that was. And O'Malley being the star that the UFC pushed when he was fighting guys like Chris Moutinho. I'm really surprised there's no hype. I think it's because they know how it's going to go, as we know how it's going to go, and stay tuned to find out how it's going to go. So with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, follow us on X and Instagram at PickinFightsCom, at PickinKeith, at _PickinWinners. Check us out on Spotify as well. You can listen to full audio, full video there too. And make sure when you subscribe here, you hit the notification bell at the top so you always get notified as to when we're going live. We need more friends in here commenting with us. We love your comments. It is 11 o'clock on a weekday, so I understand if you're not here with us live, but comment later and we'll come back to you. All right? We love chatting with our friends. So with that being said, we got one prelim notable for you. You want to jump in?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do it. Prelim notables. Hitting the button now. All right here, prelim notable. I'm going with Sergey Spivak over Waldo Cortez Acosta. He's only minus 140 right now, and I just feel like that is it. It's a pretty solid line. Sergey Spivak is a guy, you look at him, he's 3-2 over his last 5. Those losses are via knockout to Cyril Gahn and a knockout from Jailton Almeida. Two of the better guys in the heavyweight division. Honestly, the more versatile guys that skill set. And I don't think Waldo Cortez Acosta is someone that comes to mind when I think of a diverse skill set. Sergey Spivak does have really good grappling. He's going to lay on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Now, he's gotten better over his tenure in the UFC. You see the knockout win over Ryan Spann, decision win over Robelis de Spain. And then you start going into the Andre Arlovskis at, 40-something years old. Lucas Bresky, he knocked him out. A loss to Marcos Rogerio de Lima, back in 2023. So he has gotten a little bit better, gotten incrementally better competition too. But I just think the games and the experiences vastly different. I think Sergey Spivak can go out there, take this one. He's been in the ring with guys who are better than Waldo Cortez Acosta, and I think Acosta's a little sloppy. He's a little older, and people forget how big Sergey Spivak is, man. He's big and he can control you well. So I'm going with the polar bear to get this one done. What do you think, Keith?
Give me Sergey. I'm taking Sergey by submission. I like him here a lot. I like his grappling. I like his ability to mix things up, throw a heavy. Like he fights like he thinks he's a lightweight with some of the ways that he mixes in his wrestling with his hands. You don't really see heavyweights doing that too often. The last guy that we did see that is a guy that I can come to mind is a guy that Waldo Cortez Acosta fought, and that was Robelis Despain. Like in his UFC debut, he did a very bow nickel overhand right into the takedown. And then Robelis Despain, the 6'7" guy from Cuba, didn't really pan out. Now he's in karate combat. And that is very emblematic, like you said, of who Waldo Cortez Acosta has fought. Guys that are washed up, guys that really haven't panned out. And Sergey Spivak has been in there with the best of them. I'm trying to remember who it was Andrei Arlovsky. It was Andrei Arlovsky that Sergey Spivak put into that Peruvian necktie. And that was when I realized, like, Sergey Spivak, low-key, is legit. If he gets you to the ground as a heavyweight, you have a problem on your hands. He's smothering. His jiu-jitsu is great. And he's very, very sneaky. So, yeah, give me Sergey Spivak. I like him by submission here. What do you got next? Anything? Any more prelims?
Listen, there's some names on here. Chaos Williams is on here. Aaron Lipke de Silva, recently married. You have, who else on here? Almat Mirzakhanov, Bruno Silva, Joshua Van that we've known from recent ones. But ultimately, I'm just so interested in this main card. What do you say we move up right to the main card?
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Vicente Luque, Kevin Holland, kicking off the main card right now. This is something that I would consider paying $90 for. A bunch of fights that have name value, entertainment value, and stylistic matchups like this. What are you thinking about Kevin Holland and Vicente Luque?
Well, I feel like this is a fight that's happened before. I don't know why. It's like both of these guys have been around for so long. They fought the who's who. I'm going deep back into Vicente Luque's resume right now, and there's no Kevin Holland name. Maybe this was supposed to happen before. I don't know. It's odd. Like, and if it wasn't supposed to happen and it didn't happen, well, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. Both these guys have been around forever. Both these guys at 170. Kind of.
He's just fought a lot of guys who are like kind of similar, like where they have like just odd styles, like Neil Magny, Jalen Turner, Randy Brown, and I promise I'm not just listing black guys. Also Randy Brown, but like he just different styles. He does. It is interesting. He's matched up and didn't fight against Ian Gary, Nick Diaz twice, Themba Gorimbo. Vicente Luque just seems to fight those guys who just have that kind of star quality, star value, and an interesting style. So I think they both fight the same type of guy. So it's just crazy that it's taken till now for them to finally cross paths.
No, you're right. And I'll give you one more guy on Vicente Luque's resume just to, switch things up a little bit. He has also fought Stephen Thompson too. So, guy with a similar fighting style and a different complexion. So I'm going with Kevin Holland here. No, wait. I don't know. It's tough because Vicente Luque, we were kind of off on him for a while. And then that last fight against Themba Gorimbo changed my opinion. He made Themba look bad, and Themba was a heavy favorite in that fight, if I remember, especially when it came to the voting on Tapology. And Vicente Luque had like a career reemergence performance where he dropped Themba and then choked him out. And Themba really had nothing for him in that fight. It was early in the first round, if I remember. So tough fight, tough call. But you're right. Both of these guys have fought similar guys. And I feel like when Kevin Holland fights like a Vicente Luque type of guy, a more, stout, more strong type of guy, he ends up being he ends up usually victorious when he fights guys like that because he's so creative with his striking. And Vicente Luque is striking heavy, but Kevin Holland can keep him at distance with his mean, nasty kicks right up the middle, the jab. He's really good with that. And I think Vicente Luque is probably going to have a hard time closing the distance against Kevin Holland. It'll be nice to see Kevin Holland back in a fight that I feel is winnable for him too, especially after he fought MVP and he was like, I can't see him out here. And, he's fought like some really tough competition. It's good for him. Vicente Luque is another name that, it just continues to build his resume. How can you not love these guys, by the way? Like both of them just show up and fight. And, neither of them seem like they're in it for the belt, and they're just in it for the fans and the money. I could respect that. So give me Kevin Holland all day. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go right there with you. I'm taking Kevin Holland for a similar reason. I think Kevin Holland, when you look at his career, he has fought good competition, like you mentioned. Michael Venom Page just was able to outstrike and kind of beat Kevin Holland almost at his own unique style. And then you have Roman Dolidze, rib injury, faked it, didn't fake it, broke his rib, something like that, quit, whatever somebody wants to say. That's kind of an odd one, maybe an outlier. And then obviously you have the loss against RDR, which, obviously doesn't look that bad considering RDR is, who he is. And this was him just kind of proving it, and he's going on to do some interesting things in the UFC. So, you got the win against Gunnar Nelson, I think looks good. Michael Olin Jacek looks good. Kevin Holland could go out there and get it done. And I think Vicente Luque is a guy, even though he's so fun, the reason why he's so fun and so many people like him is because he kind of throws caution to the wind and isn't always the most intelligent fighter. And he does get knocked down, he does get choked out, but it always is going to be a firefight. And I think in a guy like that, in this matchup, Kevin Holland is going to be slightly more technically aware, and he's probably just going to be more aware to begin with. Keep himself a little bit safe, play with the distance, land a couple big shots on Vicente Luque, whose chin used to be a strength and is now a weakness. Kevin Holland, great jiu-jitsu as well, able to go out there and find submissions. Doesn't get submitted too often unless it's a guy who's, just levels above him. And then we can see Kevin Holland sometimes quit, but I think Vicente Luque at this point in his career is not a guy that Kevin Holland views it as. I think Kevin Holland comes into these fights, depending on who he's matching up with, whether he's really high and knows he's going to go out there and put on a stellar performance, or maybe a little bit shyer and be like, I just took the fight, maybe already making excuses before he gets into the octagon. So all that being said, I think this is one that he's going to go into confident. He's going to land strikes at range. I think he's potentially going to hurt Vicente Luque. And I don't know if I see a submission, but I see a good fight where Kevin Holland comes out victorious.
I like it a lot. I actually forgot about that RDR fight too. Stop setting Kevin Holland up against new good guys, right?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, for real. Leave him alone. Let him fight journeymen and just entertain us.
He is so willing to just tank his own career just because.
He don't give a fuck, bro.
I think it's almost like a John Jones thing, doing cocaine and partying before fights, so that he could have that built-in excuse of I was partying, I wasn't even trying. I think Kevin Holland kind of taking those fights against guys who figures I took it on short notice and I lost. What do you want from me? You know what I mean? It's like a built-in excuse already.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. Speaking of, John Jones is a bitch. He's already making in those. I'm 37. Strip us. I haven't worked out since New York. Dude, fuck off. All right, important. Well, actually, somebody else needs to fuck right off. Mario Batista, one of our king of kings of the sport, recently retired. Jose Aldo, miss you, I almost said miss you, baby, miss you, buddy. But yeah, I guess miss you, baby. You've given me so many good memories throughout the years. Thank you so much for that. And one of the bad memories, one of the bad times, was when you fought Mario Batista. And Mario Batista has done nothing to gain any friends since then, or gain any fans, I should say, really, because then you had that moment where he got out cringed by Henry Cejudo at the UFC Expo. And Henry Cejudo actually came out of a social interaction on top for once. Mario Batista just keeps taking L after L after L. And he was originally slated to fight Chito Vera on this card, which is a winnable fight for him. Chito's scrappy, Chito's tough. But Mario Batista likes to hug you on the cage. That's his main game plan, especially when he's fighting a striker. And Patchy Mix is incredible with his striking. He's also incredible with his jiu-jitsu. The guy is so legit. Dominant champ at Bellator. Crushed everybody. Last fight against Magomedov, that was a split decision. Glad he went out with a win at Bellator, so now he comes into the UFC with all the hype and everything, and fans want him to kill Mario Batista, and he's talking like he's going to go out there and kill Mario Batista. He's a guy who's been waiting to get Patchy Mix, first of all, third of all, fifth of all, fun name to say. Patchy Mix has been waiting to get in the UFC for a long time. They gave him a layup of an opponent who can absolutely murder, I hope, and yeah, they're putting him on a big card. They slotted him in for Chito. Yeah, I think Patchy's going to go out there and give the fans what they want, and that's going to be to beat up Mario Batista. So give me Patchy Mix here. Dominant performance, fight of the night, performance of the night. I think he's going to kill Mario Batista. So give me Patchy Mix. What do you got?
Yeah, I think Patchy Nix is going to go out there and get it done. I was noticing that most people, or a lot of people, have it by submission here, 44.3 compared to 47. So I guess majority by decision. I guess that's probably because Mario Batista is no slouch to jiu-jitsu, even though he spends a lot of his time holding guys up against the cage. He knows what he's talking about, or knows what he's talking about, knows what he's doing when it comes to jiu-jitsu. He's got a couple submissions on his record, a couple notably recently. Patchy Nix is just going to be far bigger and far more accomplished, and I think better in almost every area. So it could be a submission, but I don't know if that's what I'm feeling. Could be a knockout in the form of like a TKO. But I think maybe decision might be the most safe. I wonder if there's like an over/under couple of rounds thing, but yeah, give me Patchy Mix to get this one done. I think -175 is not a bad line considering the skill gap here. I think that's a pretty favorable line to take.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, bro. I like the line a lot here compared to what it should be.
Mhm.
So next up, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer, and just know that when this fight ends, you can use the bathroom. You'll find out why in like 5 minutes or so. But I'm going with Joe Pyfer in this fight. This is one that was already scheduled to happen in Mexico. Joe Pyfer went down there, got a little bellyache, and had to cancel the fight the day of. Got all over social media to let everybody know how much he hates Mexico and the food and the water. And I don't know if he said the people, but he did say it was a shithole country. So, you pulled your punches, right, Joe? For the first time ever. I don't think he's ever pulled a punch. I'm going with Joe Pyfer here. Murderer. I think Kelvin Gastelum's going to get in his face, try and scrap with him, and the power difference is going to be tremendous. Joe Pyfer by knockout. Kelvin's going to try and dance around on the outside, throw shot for shot, and then Joe's going to connect with that one that just puts Kelvin's lights out. And it's going to be a big oh shit moment, hopefully after a series of oh shit moments on this card. So, yeah, give me Joe Pyfer. What do you got, Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Joe Pyfer here. I think Kevin Gastelum is, you kind of look at his build, and I'm going to see if maybe we can get a picture of that up. But like Kelvin Gastelum's build is not that of someone who should be in the 185-pound division. Like seeing him up against like literally anyone else, like it's just it doesn't strike fear. He has solid cardio. He's got a strong chin. But, when you see him up against a guy like Joe Pyfer, this is what I wanted to show. It's a really stark difference in these two competitors. One is longer, one's mean, one you don't want to run into, one is like he would maybe knock you out and you wouldn't expect it. If you picked a fight with Joe Pyfer, everyone in your friends group or whatever would be like, hey, dude, you're on your own. Well, Kelvin Gastelum, you might have some people backing you up. I don't know if that even makes sense, but the point is that Joe Pyfer is like built for the division for 185. Kelvin Gastelum is probably at 155 or maybe 170, but just doesn't like to do the weight cuts. Has strong grappling in order to not end up on the ground, but I think Joe Pyfer, his loss against Jack Hermanson by decision, I think that was a little bit more of an outlier. I think it was good that he had that loss. Keep him humble. He was getting a little bit braggadocious, but then came back out and knocked out Marc-Andre Barriault, and he looked really good doing it. I think he's still getting better. 28 years old, 6'2", 75-inch reach, so he's way bigger, way longer, way stronger, younger. And I mean, Kelvin Gastelum, man, I mean, he does lose these decisions against good fighters, but I think Joe Pyfer's a good fighter. So, Sean Brady submitted him via Kimura. The wins are against Chris Curtis and Daniel Rodriguez, guys who are better or not as good as, not as good and don't have the career trajectory as a Joe Pyfer. So I'm all on Joe Pyfer to get this one done. -400 is a heavy price to pay, but I just don't see Kelvin winning. I think Joe Pyfer's going to land some big shots. He's going to take at least 2 rounds. And I think maybe Kelvin can maybe take like the last round because Joe does throw so hard. I can see him maybe tiring a little bit. But again, he went the distance with Jack Hermanson and lost. So I think he's going to have a little bit more awareness when it comes to cardio, especially when that's Kelvin's main strength would be his cardio and his chin. Well, all right, I know I'm going to have to go maybe the full 3 rounds. I'm prepared to do that. So I like Joe Pyfer in this fight.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, that chin is strong, but the gas tank's not, bro. Kelvin is a torta. So that's a Mexican fat lady, if you're unfamiliar with slang. Anyways, Juliana Pena, is she a Mexican lady? She's certainly not fat. She's actually gorgeous, and Kayla Harrison is going to beat that pretty face in.
I'm gonna go with she's from Venezuela.
Oh yeah, the Venezuelan vixen. Sorry, the print is small on my screen. That's not a good moment for me. That's now on the internet forever. Anyways, Kayla Harrison is going to beat the snot out of the Venezuelan vixen Juliana Pena. And yeah, I mean, listen, we've all pretty much seen the two of these women fight. Juliana Pena got lucky against Amanda Nunes in that first fight. It's tough to say you get lucky in a fight, right? Like, she did go out there, she went out and did her thing, and then Amanda Nunes came back, beat the crap out of her. And then who did Juliana Pena win the belt against the last time? Remind me.
Raquel Pennington in a split decision.
Yeah, big fucking whoop. So Kayla Harrison, she was spitting fire on the mic the other day, bro. She was like, or was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was Thursday. She was like, dude, you've lost more rounds than I've lost fights. Or I've lost less rounds than you've lost fights. So whatever it was,
You've lost more fights than I've lost rounds.
There we go. That was it. Yes, that is what she said, and that's hot fire, bro, because Juliana Pena is hot garbage. I don't know. I was really feeling Kayla Harrison at the press conference yesterday. She's crushing it.
Did you see her today?
What?
Did you see her today?
Cutting weight? How bad does she look? She always gets drained.
Yeah, we'll try and get it a little bigger.
Yeah.
She looked bad. No, it's not on this website. I don't know if you can see that, but not good.
Dude, I want to make a joke so bad, and it's going to get us canceled. Like, I can't afford to be canceled, bro. This show pays my bills. No, just kidding. But no, I mean, it looks like she
super drained.
It looks like she accepted Dave Portnoy's offer to a trip to Europe. Yeah, she looks horrible when she cuts weight, but I she's been doing it forever. I guess she's jacked, she's lean. It's gonna look bad, but she's gonna put that water back in. I guess I don't know. That always scares me. What are the odds on this one? I really. This is
minus 625 to Harrison.
Bro, what if Juliana Pena goes out there and does like some Looney Tunes ass shit and wins again, bro?
Yeah, I mean, we saw Kayla Harrison lose like semi recently to Larissa Pacheco in a decision, technically.
Yeah, that wasn't like it was like contested afterwards type deal, you know, like it's kind of bullshit type shit. But
I mean, the only thing that I could say is that Juliana Pena can submit people.
Yeah, but Kayla Harrison
is super strong, and that's her area. So I'm not necessarily saying that it's going to happen here. I'm just saying, like, I mean, she can submit people. So if she has, maybe loses the first round, but is able to stall or something in the second round, and then maybe land like a goofy punch in the third round, 2 out of 3 judges give her some kind of weird, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound crazy. Crazier things have happened in women's MMA, I feel like. I mean, Kayla Harrison cut so much weight that what is she going to be like in the second and the third round? Almost all of her fights, she just goes out there and dominates right away. So, like, maybe there's something to be said about the weight cut. And again, remember, when she was in PFL, she was cutting less weight than she is now. So now she's cutting more weight to be in the UFC. So the later the fight goes, the more you might go Juliana Pena. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Kayla Harrison's going to go out there, and I think she's just going to outmuscle Juliana Pena, and she's going to win probably in the first round, maybe the second round. But, dude, I think there's a 35% chance that this fight enters the third round, and Juliana Pena wins the third round. So it only needs to be close for one of those other 2 rounds. Yeah. So I think at plus 455, I might take Juliana Pena over a round and a half, if that's, something that you could take, or even Juliana Pena by decision, but, I could see it. I don't know how, I think it's a 30% chance that Juliana Pena makes it out of the first round by some miraculous nature. Kayla Harrison is tired and gets more tired from the second into the third, and Pena is able to squeak out the third, and the second is contested to where maybe 2 out of 3 judges give it to her. Like, that's a realistic, future.
Well, guess what, buddy? If we're taking Juliana Pena, we might as well take Mario Batista and Kelvin Gastelum too, all right? No, I'm just kidding. No, it's very valid. I'm right there with you. One final point I want to make about this is that there is very real and alive sexism in MMA. It is real. It is real. I'm being serious right now. I think it's pretty funny that like Dricus du Plessis and RDR get to fight like Looney Tunes and everybody loves it. And then when Juliana goes out and do it, they're like, stupid woman, fight good. Fight normal.
That's really funny.
Don't do that. Like, there are people genuinely get upset by her, and like while it's funny to joke about, like there's part I do respect her, bro. She's
but her Looney Tunes isn't like getting her a ton of knockouts. You know what I mean? They're not exciting fights. If you were Looney Tunes and exciting, that would be different. But,
yeah, no, it's more so like sometimes she forgets where her feet are, and like
she's just bad. She's not like awkward and difficult to deal with, like in the way like a southpaw is or something. Like she's just not that good of a striker. Like
I like how she throws punches too. It's very much like she's doing like an elliptical
lunging. Yeah.
Yeah, like remember that sequence where she was chasing down Amanda Nunes like this, like and then she fell on her face.
Yeah, like that's the kind of thing that when I'm like, oh, maybe she could win 2 out of 3. I'm like, yeah, like I was listening to Guru talk about it. He's like, it's insane that she's a 2-time champion at 11-5.
Bro,
your record's 11-5, and you're a 2-time UFC champion. That's kind of ridiculous.
If you're listening at home right now, just take that in and like process that, because that is fucking crazy. And she really is dog shit, bro. Like
she lost to Jermaine Durandamy by guillotine. Then she submitted Sarah McMahon, and then found herself in a fight against Amanda Nunes and miraculously, beat the worst version of Amanda Nunes. And then that was 3.5 years ago. Then 2 years and 10 months ago, lost the decision to Amanda Nunes. And then doesn't fight 8 months ago after Amanda Nunes retires again. Raquel Pennington, she beats her by split decision in an awful fight. And she's somehow the champion again. Like,
right. Because Raquel had beat like Moira Buena Silva in the meantime. Like, bro, it's just fun. It's like whatever the opposite of Murderer's Row is.
Yeah. I mean, now that I look at it, she did beat Ketlin Vieira in a decision, so you wonder how her cardio is going to be. It held up. She's won decisions before. Maybe I was a little egregious there. Yeah, I'm going Kayla Harrison even more confidently now. She's won decisions before. I think, even though it's 5 rounds, 4th, 5th round, maybe, but I don't know that Juliana Pena is going to get out of 3 rounds with the Kayla Harrison. Maybe if it goes 5, she'll pick up 2. But I think those first 2, maybe even 3, Kayla Harrison's going to secure. I don't see Kayla Harrison dropping 3 rounds to Juliana Pena, or Juliana Pena finishing Kayla Harrison.
I think it's funny that at the start of this, or even at the last fight, I was like, yo, this is your bathroom break fight. And we've spent the most time talking.
No, it's kind of not, because think about it. Either Kayla Harrison beats the shit out of Juliana Pena, interesting, or Juliana Pena beats Kayla Harrison in one of the biggest upsets in women's fighting history.
Well, she has the biggest upset in women's MMA of all time.
So she could have 2. We wouldn't be able to talk shit about her. That's just the reality. She'd be a 2-time champion, defended the belt, beat Amanda Nunes, beat Kayla Harrison. We wouldn't be able to talk shit.
I'm taking Juliana Pena, bro.
Dude, our only chance to talk shit about Juliana Pena ever again rests on the fact that she loses this fight in spectacular fashion. If she wins or is even competitive, we're going to be like, hey, you got to give up for the chick. Like,
right, because look at Bilal. Look at Bilal after the JDM fight. All of a sudden, everybody's like a huge Bilal. I remember his name now. Like, everybody loves Bilal after that fight. You're right. If she goes out there, even if she gets her, I almost said her dick kicked in, but even if she gets her nose punched in,
kicked in.
Yeah, she gets her clit kicked in. She might have to go to the hospital. But yeah, even if that happens to her, and she puts on a tough fight and doesn't go down, yeah, people are gonna be like, "Oh, kudos to you, good, go, girl, go, girl!" Like,
you can.
I'm definitely going to stake a little bit responsibly, bet responsibly, a little bit on Juliana Pena. The line's too good. It's too juicy, and the story. I mean, they say
Too irresponsible not to.
Yes, and they say that we live in the worst era of UFC champs. I disagree. I think we're coming back. I think we're coming back around. But if that's true, then Juliana Pena wins this fight. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still going Kayla, but definitely staking a bit on Juliana. And speaking of champs who seem pretty bad, awful, annoying, boring, and then really grew on us, that's Merab Dvalishvili, and he's fighting one of the UFC's golden boys, Sean O'Malley, former champ himself. Merab robbed the belt off of Sean O'Malley, just like he robbed his jacket, too, at the UFC card we were at. Funny enough, this one's back at the Prudential Center where we saw it, and ticket prices have tripled in like 2 years. But anyways, I'm going Merab. Everybody that doesn't have like a serious bone in their body is like, oh, well, Sean O'Malley's not been masturbating since the start of 2025. Like, he's going to win this fight. He's so laser focused, locked in. He's also in an open relationship with a slew of women. He doesn't have to masturbate. Okay, guys? Like, let's be real. And Merab also seems to have a slew of women around him at any time. So he's always working on his cardio. His cardio is the best in the game. Takedown after takedown after takedown. Dominated Umar Nurmagomedov that way through his cardio, through his takedowns. His striking gets better and better through every fight. He's at a great – well, actually, did he leave Ray Longo? I can't remember. But
no. I guess, yeah, he's at Syndicate as his primary, and then Sarah as his backup.
Right, Sarah Longo, right? Or is it just – yeah. So, yeah, I'm still going with Merab Dvalishvili here. I think he's going to end up being like the 135 GOAT maybe when this is all said and done. His resume already speaks for itself. His performances have been so dominating. And he's fun. He's a fun personality. It's a shame that this fight doesn't have more hype because I love when Merab is like front and center in media now with his costumes and the girls. And remember when he was pointing at the whiteboard? This is how you say my name. It is Dvalishvili. Like, bro, that was great. So yeah, give me Merab. I hope he stays champ for a long time. He's really, really grown on me. Dude, some of the best moments. Remember when he got knocked? He was submitted, kicking his feet, and he survived to the end of the round against Ricky Simone. And then he climbed up. Do you remember when that guy was talking shit to him from a balcony? And Merab was like, you come down here. And then he jumped up and started climbing up the fucking balcony. And security was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
He is a wild man. You remember when he jumped into like the sheet of ice and fucking had a sliver of his scalp hanging off?
Oh, fuck. That was stupid decision. Bro, you could have been paralyzed.
He could have been dead.
Yeah. Dude, dead ass. He's been so funny. So I hope he continues to do his thing. And, I to be completely honest with you, I could see Merab being a guy that goes up and challenges for 145 at some point, doing like some double champ type shit. So I love Merab. His skills and his cardio are just unmatched. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was so funny.
Yeah, look at him go. And then someone else. Dude actually threw punches, but we're all being dragged out of there.
It's not the first time. Those Georgians are nuts, man.
He is a wild man. One
time I had a Georgian Uber driver. And the only reason I even knew is because he had a Georgia, the flag of Merab's tattoo, like very similar bumper sticker on his car. And when I got in, it was like right after Merab had beat Sean O'Malley. I got into the cab and I was like, you Georgian? Like, yeah. You like Merab? Bro, he turned around. He was like, Merab is my favorite. And we had a great conversation the whole way home, bro. Like he's like, bro, we all know him from back there because Georgia's not a big country. He's a good guy. Like, it was such a cool moment. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. I love Merab. And it's cool to hear he's such a good guy.
Well, I mean, he knows him from back there. And then, Merab's around that area too. So he knows him in both spots.
True. Yeah, New Jersey's almost like a home crowd for Merab.
Yeah, it's a home game.
Yeah, and he's a fan favorite now. He may actually have surpassed Sean O'Malley as a fan favorite.
He probably slept in his own bed, right? If his house is, in New York, New Jersey, so he could train at Sarah Longo, like, His house is probably there. A house, a domicile. I don't know. He may sleep outside.
Yeah, I could see it. I think him and Aljamain live in Long Island. So for MSG, if they ever fought at MSG, he could 1,000% sleep at his house. Prudential, a little bit further, but what's a little traffic, right?
Just sleep in your bed, just leave a little earlier, you know what I mean, versus a hotel. That's got to be some sort of advantage.
Absolutely, yeah, and yeah, Prudential Center is not the best, so getting there early, you're not missing much. He could arrive a little late.
Yeah, you want to be in Newark, New Jersey as little time as possible. You're not going to Newark, New Jersey to just hang around. Yeah, keep your head on a swivel.
I thought you said New York, New Jersey. Yeah, no. Newark? Nah, no. Newark, no fun.
Newark. You don't want to be in Newark, New Jersey. You want to be there as little time as possible. I thought you were trying to say keep your head on a swivel because Newark's so bad. Newark's the next freaking Chirac, dude. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that being said, I think Rob's going to have a big advantage sleeping in his own bed, but I think I'm going to have to go O'Malley here. And, I think you think back to that first fight that he definitely did lose, but he won a couple of rounds there. I don't think he got overly dominated in the same way that we were talking about Juliana Pena being able to combat what comes on from Kayla Harrison. I think Sean O'Malley should have won some credit, maybe more than he already did, for having, again, Merab doesn't finish a lot of people, but Sean O'Malley kept a lot of that fight standing. And it's a crazy cardio pace that Merab will put on his opponents. But that being said, you're going to go, 2 individual 25-minute fights with Sean O'Malley, 50 minutes in the cage, damn near an hour, and he's not going to find the chin. He only needs to win 3 rounds, and that's a couple of big punches. Merab does eat a lot of punches, and he has eaten a lot of punches over his career. So you got to wonder at some point that's going to catch up with him. And you also got to remember that Sean O'Malley's 4 years younger. He's been doing a lot of things differently. I can see Sean O'Malley winning this one in a decision, going out there, having a very tight first round that we're really not sure which way it goes. Second round, O'Malley lands some big shots. Third round, maybe he drops it a little bit. Merab comes back. Fourth and fifth round, Sean O'Malley turns it on a little bit because maybe some of the accruing damage into Merab. I could absolutely see this fight going that way. And I think that we're going to have to see a trilogy for this one. So, yeah, I'm going with Sean O'Malley here. I think he said that he feels good. I think, this being the second fight gives him a lot more of an advantage, knowing what it's like being in there with Merab for so long. He's got kind of some data points down. Merab's game doesn't really change too much. And I think Sean O'Malley is going to have the benefit of being able to download that information and go out there. And he's only got to land, a couple big shots. He's got some really big power that, we don't know. I don't think Merab has coming back at him, especially with that distance. I think Sean O'Malley has been training distance and takedown defense and some specific patterns or some specific combos that are going to lead to success against Merab. So, I don't know. At plus 240, give me sugar to get this one done.
The pick. I do just want to present one more thing to you. Sean O'Malley's last finish in the UFC was Julian Paiva, and before that was Chris Moutinho. Aljamain Sterling, legitimate finish. That was kind of bullshit, bro. Aljamain could have kept fighting. I still stand by that to this day. It was an early stoppage. Those couple hammer fists weren't really doing shit, but he caught him when he went in. Yeah, Sean is a gamer. He has the best coach, one of the best coaches in Tim Welch, when it comes to breaking down film and everything, but I really don't think he has power in his hands. The Moutinho fight was a stoppage, a sympathy stoppage. The Aljamain fight was kind of a sympathy stoppage. Besides that, it's Piotr Jan, split decision. Yeah, it's just it hasn't when you put him up against the top. He couldn't even knock out Cheeto, bro. Cheeto's tough, but I don't know, bro. He had so many clean shots that he landed on him in that fight that it makes me genuinely question if Sean O'Malley has power or if he's a volume guy. And if he's a volume guy, that's fine. But you can't be a volume guy against a guy that's going to have you on your back for half the round. So that's why I'm hard and fast with Merab in this one. But I respect the pick, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going back and I'm looking at it. You got the Aljamain. He's a little bit younger. Some of these knockouts are against the guys who are, a little bit later on in their career, like an Eddie Wyland. Marlon Chito Vera obviously had an established, career. Ended up getting the loss there, but that was like kind of an odd one. Knocked out Thomas Almeida. Another guy who's in his career. Chris Moutinho. That was, just a totally myth match. Julian Paiva. Yeah, I don't know if he's like super far in his career and if it totally matches the analogy. But, at the end of the day, I think, he's definitely got power. And I don't know if I even see him knocking out, even knocking out Marab. I think I'm more or less thinking that he's going to have the more powerful shots of the two so that he's able to steal some rounds, steal some exchanges. Maybe he drops Marab or he drops him in combination with a slip. Or slip it, and the judges see that. Like, I just think Sean O'Malley has a lot more comfort and he's more dynamic on his feet. And like you said, he's with Tim Welch, who's going to break down fight. Now they have 25 minutes of O'Malley versus Marab that they can then go and break down and strategize towards. Sean O'Malley's the guy who's going to go out there and execute. Marab's the guy who's going to go out there and maraud and just pick people up, slam them down. So I think, when you have a real executor, a tactician like Sean O'Malley going in there with a guy who's really smart at breaking down and finding holes in other people's games, I find it hard to believe that you're going to go 50 minutes without landing the better of the exchanges. And I think Sean O'Malley is going to be the one who's going to make the adjustments that lead to success more than Marab this time. And that's why we're going to have a trilogy. So, yeah, I like O'Malley probably by decision to get this one done. I don't know why. It's just kind of like a gut feeling a little bit. But, to your point, he's got one of the best coaches in breaking down, and he's super precise. And to me, that just kind of spells a recipe for finding, a couple powerful shots in Marab. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the odds real quick. I am curious. Okay, minus 300 for Marab makes perfect sense. I get that. That's actually such a justifiable line, in my opinion, too, after the performance against Umar.
And I like plus 240 for O'Malley. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind that.
Absolutely.
I'll take that. Yeah, I'm getting some stuff back. I think he's going to win anyway. So there's a couple underdogs on this fight, a couple of interesting lines. So we'll take advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up the main card. If you want to put a bow on it, pick rundown time.
Pick rundown time.
Let's do it. All right. Starting down with our prelim lock. I'm going with Sergey Spivak over Waldo Cortez Acosta. Main card, I got Kevin Holland over Vicente Luque. Patchy Mix over Mario Batista. Joe Pfeiffer over Kelvin Gastelum. Kayla Harrison with a slight hedge on Juliana Pena. And Merab Dvalishvili over Sean O'Malley.
I'm going Sergey Spivak over Waldo Cortez Acosta. I am going with Kevin Holland over Luque, Patchy Mix over Batista, Pfeiffer over Gastelum, Harrison over Pena, but I don't know. I see a really weird future where maybe we're talking about Juliana Pena as one of the GOATs. And then, give me the underdog, Sean O'Malley over Marab. Dude, she's going to have a good career. You can't even deny it. It's not who she fought, but she's a two-time UFC champion, defended the belt, beat had two of the biggest upsets. That's greatest, maybe not the greatest fighter of all time or women's fighter of all time, but certainly one of the greatest careers of all time to have all of those accolades on one record. That's pretty insane.
I take your Juliana Pena and I match you Carla Esparza.
Oh, very interesting. Women's MMA sucks, dude.
The fucking Cookie Monster has the same resume, bro.
Yeah, women's MMA sucks. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot for a second.
I didn't mean to just shut down your point like that, bro. But it's like I feel like we have like 5 women in women MMA that are like 2-time champs, bro. Rose.
Oh.
Right? I think Rose is a 2-timer.
Mm-hmm.
Weili Zhang. Those are like the 2 most prominent.
Yeah, I guess when you only have 4 or 5 fighters that are actually solid, they just keep fighting each other, winning and losing, and everyone becomes 2-time champions, and it really kind of loses its value.
That's mad funny. But it is. The first name that popped in my mind. I was like 2-time champs and women. Oh, Carla Esparza, bro. Oh my God, we have to end that shit there, bro.
Oh man. All right. Well, to everyone who stepped with us, Appreciate you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on X and Instagram. Let us know what you think of our picks. What picks are you interested in? Let us know what you think of the show. And as always, we're going to be on Spotify, so make sure you go and check that out. Keith, anything you want to say to the people?
Nah, I'm just feeling the finger guns today. So pew, 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 pew. See you next week. Pew, pew, pew.